Ryan Rosenblatt from SB Nation Soccer, and the January transfer window is winding down, and we're still waiting for something interesting to happen. It's been a pretty dull month. The biggest news of the window came early on when Demba Ba moved from Newcastle to Chelsea, giving Chelsea the opportunity to bench Fernando Torres. Not quite, he still played a little bit, but he's no longer the number one option at Stamford Bridge, and that's a good thing. Now they have a striker who can, well, shoot on goal and run. It's a big improvement from what they were getting out of Torres. Ba has given them a lift. He's combined very well with Juan Mata, Eden Hazard, and Oscar. The rest of the team, not so much. Rafa Benitez has some trouble on his hands. He's creating some of the trouble, but at least the striker is not as much of an issue now that they have Ba. Well, the team that sold Ba, Newcastle, is also making some news this transfer window. They have bought all of Ligue 1. Not quite, but it sure feels that way. They brought in 1, 2, 3, 4. They may bring in 5, 6, even possibly 7 players from Ligue 1 this January. They are absolutely raiding the league and doing a great job with those signings too. When you look at Yanga and Biwa, they get a great young defender, someone who could slot into the center of defense and really help out Alan Pardew's squad. They have Musa Sissoko, who's supposed to come over in the summer. He signed a pre-contract agreement. They get some help up front. They get some help in the midfield. This is just a really, really good job by Pardew and Newcastle to go to Ligue 1 and pick out players that, well, they're not as appreciated as they should be. These are players that really should be going to other clubs as well, but they're not scouting Ligue 1 as well as Newcastle. This isn't new either. This is something that Newcastle's been doing for the last few years. They keep doing it this January. Great job by Newcastle going down to France. And while it seems like they're picking every player, not quite, but they're getting some very good ones. Besides that, there's not a lot to talk about. The other interesting things are pre-contract agreements. Lewis Holtby is going to go from Schalke to Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham may pay £1 million or £2 million to get him in there this January as opposed to the summer. That would be a big boost to their run for the top 4. That might give them a leg up on Arsenal if they want to get 4th place and into the Champions League. Holtby's a great player. He's better than Clint Dempsey. He is better than Gylfi Sigurdsson. He can slide in and play very, very well for Spurs. Another player who signed a pre-contract agreement, Fernando Llorente, he's going to leave Athletic Bilbao in the summer and go to Juventus. That's a big signing for Juventus, who don't look like they need a lot of help to win the league. It looks like they're going to win Serie A again. But if they want to be a player in Europe, if they want to be able to compete with the best teams in the Champions League, they needed an impact striker. When Llorente's on form, he's one of the best in the world. He's going to be a major addition to that team if he finds his form after a rocky season in Bilbao. But to be fair, everyone's having a rocky season in Bilbao as they fight relegation. Besides that, not a lot to talk about, but there are a few days left in the window and something's going to come up. It always does as the window comes close to slamming shut. Will Tottenham get Holtby? Will Arsenal make a buy? If either one of those two can make a big move, that could be the difference between playing the Champions League next year and not. You got a tight race in Italy. If you get a player there, they can change the landscape there. In Spain, not so much. Some stuff to play out for the Champions League. Barcelona's going to win that league. And then over in Germany, Bayern Munich's going to win that league. They don't need any help player-wise, and they don't need any help at coach either. They got Pep Guardiola coming in. So not a ton to talk about in January, but the craziness is upon us. It's going to get weird as we get down the last couple days, as it always does. So make sure you head over to SB Nation Soccer for all your coverage of the January transfer window.